Do you run Zoom meetings but aren't quite sure how best to use breakout rooms? Or maybe you're using breakout rooms, but they aren't having the impact, the energy that you hoped they would. Hey, in this video, I'm going to go over, I think, 4 really important steps you're going to want to use every time you do a breakout. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about why often I see breakout rooms fail to create the effect that meeting hosts are going for. So stick around. We're going to up-level your breakout room usage by really looking closely at how we lead into the breakout rooms and how we facilitate them once folks are in it. Hey there, my name is Josh Friberg, and this channel is all about creating better meetings and gatherings. I work as an Xchange certified guide, and what that means is that we focus on creating deep human connection at speed and scale. If you're interested in improving your meetings and gatherings, I'd love for you to subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. Well, hey, let's talk about Zoom meetings, right? Zoom meetings, they're rough out there sometimes, you guys. They're over 67% of people who are in meetings describe themselves as distracted. Over 55% are checking their phone during their meeting. And I want to help you engage better. In order to do that, we're going to have to learn how to use our breakout rooms really effectively. Now, if you haven't used breakout rooms in Zoom, they're really simple to use from a technical perspective. You just go down to the bottom of your screen, click on breakout rooms, decide how many rooms you want. Say you've got a group of, 25 people and you want to put people into groups of 3. You just keep toggling up until it tells you that there's 3 or 4 people in each room. Press the button, it'll randomly assign those. And now all of a sudden you got people in breakout rooms. But then what? This is the most terrifying part of leading a meeting. Why is that? Because as soon as they go, you have no idea what's going on in those rooms. You don't know if they're on topic. You don't know if they're enjoying it. You don't know if people are just deciding to leave. It can be really nerve-wracking if you haven't practiced this a few times. So what I'm going to do, I want to give you a model to think about how to guide your breakout rooms really effectively. And I'm going to show you some of the visuals that I will literally use when I'm putting people into a breakout room. Now, the first and most important thing that you want to do when you're getting ready to set up a breakout room is you actually want to start with a clear question or topic for the breakout room. And so what I will often do is not only verbally give that question, and I'll use the classic opening question we use quite often within Appreciative Inquiry and within Xchange, is why is it important that we choose, or that you choose, to be here today? Right now, a couple things about this. First of all, I love writing it out. I love using the iPivo camera together with either a piece of paper or something like an iPad with Notability to write it down. Now, why would I do that? Well, because we have different learning styles, right? We have auditory learners, we have visual learners, we have kinesthetic learners who actually get a lot from seeing it written out in real time. So I love using a tool like this to make sure, but you don't need to do that. Don't let that get in the way if you can't do it. If you want to put a slide up or you just want to give the question verbally, you can do that. But the first thing we need is we need a clear question or topic that we're going to be covering during our breakout room. And here's the second part that goes with that. Give them time to reflect on the question. Give them time to reflect on the question. Now, there's two really important reasons for this. First of all, when it comes to giving people a question and expecting an immediate response, there's a bunch of personality types that don't like that and aren't that good at it. So we've massively increased their stress if we say, hey, here's a question, get in a breakout room, talk amongst yourselves, go. Right? Now, there's some personality types that love that. And by the way, we need to help them too. Right? Of course, we're probably talking about introverts and extroverts at this point. That's one way of measuring it. And the extroverts will dominate a conversation that's set up like that. The introverts will, cower in the corner. And worse yet, those extroverts, they just think while they're talking. I know, because I am one. And so what we want to do is give them a chance to get their first draft out. So maybe they can say something a little better, a little more pointed during a breakout. And we want to give the introverts time to think, because introverts like to think before they talk. So it's really important that we give them time to reflect on the question. So that's our first step. Make sure that you have one clear question or topic and time to reflect on it. The next thing that we want to do before going into a breakout room is we want to tell them why we're doing this. We want to tell them why they're doing this. And let me share with you one way that I've been setting up breakout rooms lately that I think is really valuable. And what I say is, hey, when we want to entertain a new idea, right? First we think it, maybe we journal on it, and then what we do is we go around people that we know and we like and we trust, and we share one small part of our idea to see if it resonates, to test the market, test the waters. And if we get positive social reinforcement on what we shared, we are encouraged, we're emboldened, and we go a little bit further. Well, we're going to take advantage of that right now as we move into this breakout room, where each of you wrote down one important reason why it's important for you to choose to be here today for our meeting. And what we'd like you to do is have a place, which is 2 or 3 other people, where you get to share that idea. And folks are going to reflect back to you something positive, something they can appreciate about what you shared. This is going to embolden us and encourage us as we go through the rest of this call, because by the end of the call, you're going to want to take bold action on, whatever it is, the reason that we're gathering. So when we take just 30 seconds to a minute to share with people why what we're about to do is important, right? They're not rolling their eyes and going, oh my gosh, what a waste of time. They're not wondering, why are we doing what we're doing? They're not sitting there going, well, I would do it different if I were in charge, right? Because they go, oh, there's a reason we're doing this. It has a purpose behind it. It has an explanation. It has a meaning. So the second thing that we want to do is tell people why we're going into this breakout. Now, the third thing is you want crystal clear instructions. Crystal clear instructions. This is the way I like to say it. I want you to make it so clear that a 10-year-old would understand what you're doing in this call, what you're doing in this breakout, right? Make it so clear that a smart 4th grader would be like, I understand exactly what's being asked of me when I get into that breakout room. Adults are very cautious in social environments. You may not think so, but they really are. And when they don't know what to do, they can tend to freeze, they can tend to go quiet because they're not certain about how to behave in a new environment. And so when we give clear instructions on folks how to behave in a breakout room, well, then they're going to know exactly what to do. Let me show you what that might look like. And I love using the visuals again because it's really simple. It's a little bit, like I said, it's kind of elementary school, but that's on purpose. It's on purpose so that we can actually be certain that we're doing what we intended to do, or right, that our people know what they're supposed to be doing. All right, let's take a look at this. So let's say we're going into a breakout room of 3. And so I really like, to draw these smiley faces. I learned this from John Berghoff, the founder of Xchange. And I'll say, hey, here's what we're going to do. Whoever lives the furthest west is going to go first. That's my first clear instruction. They know who's going to go first. They don't have to guess. Nobody has to have any courage on that. They just know, oh, I live, on the west coast of the U.S., so I'm the furthest west. And the person from Ohio is second, and the person from North Carolina is last. So the first person we're going to say is going to share their response to the one question or one topic of conversation. The next thing I'm going to do when I say, hey, they're going to share, is I'm going to give them a time constraint. There's a lot of freedom found in constraints. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, you're going to do that for, let's say, 1 minute. Little pro tip, try doing that in a different color, maybe something urgent like red. It'll be more visible for people, more easy to remember. I'll say, okay, so that person's going to share. Then after they've shared, what I'd like each of the other 2 people to do in this group is to reflect something back, right? Reflect something that causes that person to be appreciated, causes them to want to grow in what they're doing, that causes them to be emboldened or encouraged. And again, I'm going to give time prompts with this because what we want to do is make sure that it's super, super clear to people what they're going to be doing in their breakout room. And then, of course, the last thing we'll tell them to do is keep going around until everybody has had a chance to go. So we're going to repeat that. And then what I want to do is tell them how long they can expect to be in the group, in the breakout room that they're about to go into. And so you'll notice that if we added all this up, it's about 6 minutes or so. What we're actually going to do is say, hey, we're going to give you an extra minute while you're in there. Go ahead and take 7 minutes while you're in that group. And here's one of the most important things when we're talking about timing for breakout groups. This is a super secret pro facilitator tip. Lie. Okay, here's what I mean by that. We tell them 7 minutes, but I never have any intention of it being 7 minutes. I intend on it being 8, right? I intend on it being 9, right? Whatever that is, always a little bit more than what we give them. People will try to restrain themselves, but they can't. They'll talk a little bit longer, and that's okay. Most time, people appreciate it when they have a little bit extra time in the group. So for that, and by the way, when I do these instructions, I might repeat myself 2-3 times so that there's absolute clarity what's going on inside this breakout room. Now, here's the last part. When people come back out of the breakout room, is what we want to do is invite a few of their voices into the larger group experience. We want them to be able, we want 2 or 3 or 4 people to actually be able to share out loud in front of the large group what came up, what they learned, what was inspiring, what was interesting, a pattern they noticed in their breakout. Why do we do this? You know, one of the key things that people are looking for is not just to hear, but to be heard, not just to see, but to be seen. When we invite other voices in, we're saying, hey, there's not just one expert on this call. We are a community of experts. And we're elevating all voices within the room. This is a really effective way to use the breakout. People feel heard maybe in the small group, but then they might feel like, oh, that was just to placate us, to give us a chance to chat, but not that the people in charge actually wanted to hear what was going on with us. When we actually invite voices after the breakout, they're much more likely to feel seen and heard. And this empowers people to contribute more during our calls. You want to increase the energy in your calls? This is one of the fastest ways to do it. Well, why do so many breakout rooms fail, right? You can come back and it feels like people weren't talking about what they were supposed to be talking about. You go to close the breakout rooms. Usually there's like a 30 or 60 second countdown timer. And as soon as you make the option to come back to the main room, they all come flooding back right away. Or maybe they go to the breakout rooms and a bunch of people leave the call entirely, right? If it's a voluntary call. Well, I think there's a few reasons. And so the framework that I just set out for you, have one clear topic, explain why we're doing this, give clear instructions, and then have a report out. This will fix most of the problems. Many people don't have good breakout rooms because they don't have crystal clear instructions. Super simple, super easy to follow. People don't know what to do. If the instructions aren't clear, they get in the breakout room and they're like, so who goes first? Now, you'll have a few natural leaders, organic leaders, who will take over the conversation, but they may not take it in the direction that you want. This is where crystal clear instructions make it easy for people to know what to do once they get in the breakout room. The second thing is, most novice facilitators, most novice meeting leaders will make their breakout rooms much too long, or alternately, much too short, right? So here's a quick way to know if you got the timing right. First, when you close the breakout room and there's that 30-second countdown timer, if all or most of the people don't come back until they're forced to come back, that's a good sign that you didn't go too long. Right? If people come back early, then it was too long, right? Now, alternately, how do we know if it's too short? It's too short if when people report out, they say things like, well, only one of us got to share. only 2 of the 3 of us got to share. Like, not everybody had a chance to go. You may have made it too short or not given clear instructions on the amount of time each person was supposed to take. A couple quick ways to fix that. One, send out time prompts in a text broadcast. So send out like, hey, that was 2 minutes, time to switch to your second person. Hey, that was 4 minutes, time to switch to your third person. These are great ways to keep people moving along. So that's one way to make sure, and then giving people warnings about when the room is going to close. The last reason that breakout rooms go wrong is because we haven't explained to people why we're doing a breakout room. And so they think it's just chat time. They feel like it's idle, like it's not a good use of their time. They don't understand the purpose of it. And so they don't give their all to it. They don't fully engage in the breakout activity. So this is a great way to build better breakout rooms for your Zoom meetings. You're going to get more energy. You're going to get more participation from others. And listen, if you'd like to know more about perhaps becoming Xchange certified, I would love to talk to you about that. You can reach out to me at the links attached to this account. And I'd love to talk to you about how you can learn about becoming certified as an Xchange guide. Or if you'd like help designing your next Zoom meeting or in-person gathering, I'd love to work with you to help not only design, but maybe even to facilitate a retreat, a series of sales meetings, whether in Zoom or in person. Would love to talk to you more about that. In the meantime, hey, next time you've got a Zoom meeting, you want to see better energy? Give this breakout room thing a try and follow those 4 steps of having one single clear question or topic. Tell people why we're doing a breakout, give clear instructions on the breakout, and invite voices after the breakout. This is how you can elevate your events.